Hello, this is Diana Schad, Director of the Family Business Alliance. Joining me today is Mike Ritsema, President of i3 Business Solutions. Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, glad you're able to get out of the house and come downtown and be with us at the chamber for a little bit.
Coronavirus, COVID-19, drama in real life.
Exactly. Well, I wanted to start a little bit talking about i3 Business and just some background questions, just so we get an idea of how it was started and how long it's been around. So what year was your business started?
We merged a couple companies that started in 1992. We merged them in 2004.
Okay, and what was your inspiration between starting the business?
Well, that's a long story, but I got into technology in 1990 with IBM when the PC Junior just came out. I thought I missed the whole boat. The party's over. So I got into technology in the 90s, worked for 10 years, and I always wanted to own my own business, and in 2001 had that opportunity.
Okay, I imagine you've seen things change a lot over the years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You sort of got in early. I can remember the old-fashioned, my first computer was a RCA or something like that. Things have changed a lot.
Absolutely. Megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte, zettabyte, here we go.
So you were the first generation to start the business then?
True, yes.
Did you grow up with family businesses, or is this just something that you started on your own?
I've never been asked that question, but now that I think about it, Ritsema Brothers Plastering, my father was in a family business, and so and he always worked for himself or with his brothers, so yeah,
okay.
I did.
Good, so you grew up with that hard work mentality.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you kind of do a little bit of everything. Now, you have a son, I believe, who's working with you.
Yep.
And you said his name is Marcus?
Yep.
Okay. And how long has he been working with you?
It's been about a year and a half.
Okay, yeah. And how is that going?
It's, it's family, it's business, it's, it's work. And I think that's why we're here with the Family Business Alliance, to share and find our way through that.
Well, good. Well, do you have any other family members who work in the business, or just you and Marcus?
Occasionally through the years, my daughter Rachel will jump in and help out, but she's a busy girl with other jobs and responsibilities. So it's generally Marcus and me.
Okay.
My wife helps a little bit on the side also.
Okay.
So, but generally Marcus and me right now.
And how many total employees do you have?
About 31, 32, yeah.
Okay, so before we started, you and I talked a little bit about COVID, and I want to ask you generally about what i3 Business Solutions does, but I'd love to hear about how things have changed the last couple of months as well.
For a technology business, we are an essential business. We're a critical infrastructure business. So customers were scrambling to the home office in March, and we were buried. We were swamped. The good news is we use a lot of Microsoft technology, including Teams and Voice, and we were set up in the cloud, so we seamlessly went to home office work. And we're able to service our customers and help them set up their remote offices, through March and into April, and then support the businesses as they move forward. So, coronavirus, I think for a business owner, yes, drama and concern and a risk. But from a business continuity or execution standpoint, we've been pretty steady.
Have things stabilized now? I know there was probably an early onslaught to get people working from home. Have things stabilized a little bit the last couple months?
Yeah, absolutely stabilized, yes.
And what kind of businesses do you work with?
Oh, you name it. I mean, we came out of manufacturing and distribution in the 90s with IBM. So we work with a lot of manufacturers and distributors. We have healthcare accounts. We have professional accounts. We have a number of retail accounts lately.
Okay.
So breadth of industries. Transportation's pretty strong.
Mm-hmm. And what specific kinds of services do you provide for them?
I mean, we're considered a MSP, a managed services provider. We will become the IT department or help the IT department. I say that really what we provide is checklist process excellence. If you've got an IT guy or you're trying to find your way through IT, sometimes they don't always follow all the checklists. And we make sure that that security stuff and all that stuff is tight as a drum and that your business can operate on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. Now, you mentioned you now have 30 employees. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that growth be steady, or have you seen a greater growth the last couple of years?
Well, certainly last year was strong. Coronavirus punished us. I think we've gone in waves. As with any business, I think, in a technology business, it's relatively easy to grow it to 10 to 15 employees. To get to that next level takes more work. And to get where we're at to the next level takes more work yet. Giving you the both answer.
Okay.
It's been steady with some challenges.
Okay. Well, wonderful. Well, I want to talk a little bit about your community involvement, because it sounds like you talk about giving to and participating in charitable organizations that fill your philosophical profile. Can you talk a little bit about that, and whether that's just family oriented or the entire business that does that, and how you choose the charities that you reach out to?
Really the why for I3, what gets me up in the morning, is helping individuals and families. I believe we do this by creating jobs. And so any business in West Michigan that creates jobs and helps companies grow and protects the risk of the organization is serving the community. That's fundamental to what we do. If I can help your business grow through its use of technology and protecting you against technology risk, I'm doing a service. And if that helps you hire more people, that supports individuals and families. And then my company grows. And I think that's the way that West Michigan succeeds. The more jobs, the more families supported, the better for West Michigan, the better for Michigan, the better for the United States and the world. So that's fundamental, but how do we give back in a charitable way? How do we give back to the community is, I say, we support nonprofits, especially on the west side. We're located on the west side of Grand Rapids, especially on the west side, and in downtown Grand Rapids. We want to help the disadvantaged right here in our community. So I'm on the board of the Boys and Girls Club. I'm passionate about that, and we support them and help them in financially and in other ways. Secondly, the Help Pregnancy Resource Center is right on Bridge Street, and my former partner, Kathy, started the Right Connection, which is associated directly there to support young ladies that need help going through a pregnancy. We support Mel Trotter Mission, Guiding Light Mission. We want to support the disadvantaged right in downtown Grand Rapids.
Wonderful. All amazing organizations. They all do great work.
Yeah.
Do some of your employees, do you ever do volunteer days or anything like that with them?
We've done that with the kids' food basket, and yes, when possible we do.
Yeah, Boys and Girls Clubs years ago. I went to the, on Strait Avenue, I believe there's a facility, and we brought arts and crafts, and the kids are wonderful. It's a great organization. So I want to talk a little bit about, of course, one of the issues we're hearing about more and more is about cybersecurity with technology and people accessing data. How do you work with that, and what are some of the things that you do to mitigate this?
I say that in business, and any of us that are running a small business today, we're interested in four things, and that's productivity. Can I do more with less? How can I be more productive? That's technology and tools fundamentally. Profitability, I have to make money, or sustainability, I have to break even to sustain the government or the nonprofit organization. Profitability being second. Innovation, how am I different than the other guys? And then risk management. And in technology, technology risk management is paramount. And we talk about layers of security. There's multiple layers of security I won't go into right now. But it's our responsibility for our 80-plus customers to make sure that they have these layers of security in place. I'm just going to mention three right now, and I'll say to any individual listening or to any business listening, these are my three mandates for you. And number one is back up your stuff. So if you've got an iPhone or an Android, in my case, a Samsung phone, make sure that thing's syncing to either the Google Cloud, the iCloud for contacts, photos, etc. So that if that thing goes in the toilet or gets stolen or shattered, you can just be right back in business. Back up your stuff. In business, let's make sure that you have an image-based backup and it's offline. Image-based and offline. Because I think a lot of us have heard about Garmin lately, and Garmin didn't have a quality backup, and I don't think it was offline, and therefore they had to pay the ransom to get their stuff back. So back up your stuff, image-based and offline. In fact, if you're a business owner listening to this, go to your IT person, your IT department, your IT provider, and ask them that question. Do I have an image-based and offline backup? Secondly is multi-factor authentication. Turn on multi-factor authentication for the email at your company today, not tomorrow, today. Do that, please. And for your personal email and your credit cards and bank accounts, please turn on multi-factor authentication. My 4-digit ATM code. It is the code that was given to me by AT&T 25 years ago. The same code. 4 digits. I haven't changed it in 25 years. And my bank has not asked me to change my 4-digit code in 25 years. Why is that? Because multi-factor is what you know and what you have. Only I know those 4 digits. You don't. And only I have my login. So you can steal my password, but you cannot get inside my head and get my 4 digits. You can try and guess them, but the bank will lock you out from trying to log into that ATM. So when you go to that ATM device with your card, you physically have your card and you know your 4 digits. Somebody can steal your card, but they have to figure out your 4 digits. And if you can find mine from AT&T online from 25 years ago, I'm in trouble. So that's it. Multi-factor is what you know and what you have. Please turn it on. Only you have your cell phone. Only you have your cell phone. And you can protect your business by turning on multi-factor authentication for your email, because the third thing I recommend is education and policy. We know of another company in West Michigan that lost close to $100,000 due to spear phishing. The bad guys are no longer throwing out 1 million emails and hoping you click on a link. They are targeting specifically the owner, the CFO, the financial people, the purchasing people. And they are sending them emails. And once they get into that account, they will sit for a month or more and watch for the right email. And then they will reroute your emails into a folder, and they will send the email saying to the customer or to the vendor saying, send your money to this location. And then it's too late. 2-factor prevents that. Spear phishing, education, policies is number 3. Number 1, back up your stuff. Number 2, multi-factor authentication, turn it on. Number 3, educate your team.
This is wonderful advice. It's funny about your PIN because mine is about the same, maybe a little bit older even. And I remember the first bank in Pennsylvania, and I just continue to use it for 25 or 30 years.
Yeah,
so
that's the power of multi-factor.
Well, we're hearing so much about this and from our businesses, so I know that our members will enjoy that advice. And we've actually thought about doing a program on cybersecurity because it just seems you're hearing about it more and more from different companies where there's breaches or different things or fraud, different things that are going on with that. So thank you for sharing that. I wanted to ask you a little bit. I know during this COVID time, you've been doing some webinars, things that you've been doing to keep in touch with your employees. And one thing that you mentioned to me was these TouchBased Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that and talk about other measures that you've done to keep in touch with your staff?
Yeah, certainly for i3 it was seamless. And we were working with a number of customers for implementing Microsoft Teams. And Microsoft Teams integrated to Office 365 and all the power of collaboration through email and instant messaging. Leveraging that. And these customers that were so close to going live basically went live in one day with Teams. And so our ability to communicate through video and audio and instant messaging with Teams has been phenomenal. And then the TouchBased Tuesday credit goes to Pete at our company, who said, hey, let's Tuesdays, 11:45, invite everybody in. And people show up from everywhere. It's downright entertaining to see Brett walking around with his cell phone outside as he's involved in the call. But just a way to get people together. Recently we've been doing Who's the Most Famous Person You've Met. Really entertaining stuff. And then previous to that, we did Tell Us Something About Yourself That You Don't Know. So just a way to connect and have some fun for only 15 minutes and then go away.
That's great. I got to know who's the most famous person that one of your staff members has met so far.
I'll tell you mine, and it is Marcus Allen at a Microsoft convention. And I told Marcus Allen, the great football running back, that I named my son after him, and he was kind of surprised. But indeed, Marcus Allen, my older brother's middle name is Allen, but Marcus Allen was a great running back 35 years ago, and he was a big reason my son's named that.
That's wonderful. Well, we're wrapping up. We're almost out of time, but I wanted to ask if you have any other thoughts about owning a family business or working with family members, if there's any advice you would offer to our members.
I think the advice that I'd offer to anyone is the advice that I do offer to anyone, and that is find a mentor, find a peer group. And so in my lifetime, I've been a member of the Grand Rapids CEO Chamber, but then it quickly went to HTG peer groups, technology peer groups that we collaborated with for almost a decade. I'm currently in M6, a technology peer group. And so, in different situations in life, we go through different things. And the Family Business Alliance is a great peer group for me right now because this is strange ground for me. And bringing a family member into the business can be complicated, and I'm charting new ground. I am not a specialist. Would somebody help me, guide me, give me some ideas? I say that all the peer groups I've been involved in are as much perspective, just perspective. Give me a perspective. Tell me your story. And secondly, commiseration. I think I'm the only one with a problem. Oh, surprise, I'm not. So that's my advice. Find a mentor, find a peer group, and FBA is a great one for us right now.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm so glad. And I know your son is in the next gen and you're in a now gen. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Well, good. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Likewise. Glad to be here.